Welcome to Secrets from the Saddle podcast. I'm Sylvie D'Aoust, your host, fellow cyclist, bike club founder, cycling coach, bike race junkie, just truly super passionate about cycling. My journey with cycling started 20 years ago when I opened a spin studio, started a women's race team, and founded a women's only cycling club called Cycle Fit Chicks. I'm super thrilled to reveal all aspects that make the world of cycling operate. I'm so excited to be able to bring you interesting people from around the world, pro cyclists, recreational cyclists, coaches, event organizers, bike shop owners, everything and everyone you need to know or ever wondered about when it comes to cycling. I know you'll enjoy this episode. Hey everyone, what is up? And welcome back to the podcast. Before we get into talking to today's event organizer, which I'm super excited about doing, is talking to all these individuals who are in charge of some of the greatest events happening in North America. I need to remind you about the Ride to Conquer Cancer. So I am fundraising to raise money for cancer. I have organized a 2 weeks, 2 events. I will be cycling over 700 kilometers to raise money for cancer. I will be doing so in these 2 events. One is UNBOUND XL. That's right. I'm going to go up against myself and I'm going to be riding for my family. My mom is a breast cancer survivor and my daughter of 20 has been told that she has a brain tumor. So I can't even tell you how I keep it together, but riding my bike is one of the things that keeps me going. And I ask you to donate and help me reach my donation or my fundraising goal of $5,000. The link is in the bio. So please go there. Anything helps to get to the goal for any type of cancer. The cancer money, the money from this fundraiser is part of the Ride to Conquer Cancer. So after I do UNBOUND XL, I will be driving back to Toronto and participating in the 2-day Ride to Conquer Cancer, so 100 kilometers each day. And that's where the money is going to, goes to the Princess Margaret Research Center in Canada, in Toronto. That's one of the things that I love, that it's not, the money is going straight to a Canadian research center, which is one of the top 5 research centers in the world. So it doesn't go to an organization where I don't know where the money goes. So it goes straight into the Canadian research. I love that. And so that is where the donation money will be going. But I'm using these 2 events to ride for cancer, for my family, and for all my friends who have beat cancer and who have lost to cancer. So anything helps. And the link is in the bio. So we're going to be getting into today's episodes. We're talking to Jon Conkling. He is a event organizer with John Mosey of episode 31. John Conkling, we have to separate the two, is a hyper sports owner and race director. John loves triathlon, and his wife, in that order, his number 1 goal is to make sure that you have a race experience of your life. He is a member of the West Michigan Triathlon community for many years. John is focused on ensuring that all participants and spectators have a top-notch race experience, being at their first event or 100th. John's first race was Grand Rapids Triathlon in 2012. He has done every distance from sprint to numerous running races and marathon. In his spare time, he can be found volunteering on soccer fields. He is going into his 19th seasons coaching his sons in AESO, where he is also the board member for a number of years. So I can't wait to get and talk with John. I hope you love this episode, and don't forget to ride your bikes, guys, and donate generously. Take care, guys. We'll see you in the episode. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie D'Aoust. And we have a extension of an episode that we did with John Mosey, which was episode 301. We were talking about the Ride to Hell, Dirty Mitten, Ugly Dog, Waterloo, GG, and this is his partner and owner of their other bunch of races, which are triathlon based. So this is John Conkling. Yep. Conkling. I'm bad with last names. And he takes care of all their other triathlon. I am assuming you take care of the other ones. Or
yeah, I mean we're pretty split, but yeah, we both got a hand in each. But I'm definitely more from a tri background than John is. He's more of a cyclist, but we've dipped into each other's worlds now. So
I see it. This is so cool. It's such a great partnership. So the other events that they have are Grand Rapids Tri, the Titanium. The Ironman Titanium.
Well, Michigan Titanium.
Right.
So the Grand Rapids Grand Fondo is
Grand Rapids Grand Fondo.
Yeah. That's a new event that we have, cycling only for that one.
And then the BRAINY Day trail race, which I think is new.
Yeah, it's new for us. Yeah, we took it on last year. It was off during COVID. It had been going on for quite a while prior, but then kind of went away. So we were pretty happy to pick that one back up and keep it going.
Wow. Okay. So everybody, if you've heard of one of these, I'm going to put all the lists of them in the show notes. But if you haven't registered yet, you can use my registration discount code of Sylvie10 to get 10% off any one of their gravel or triathlon events. So make sure, go to their website, which is TRIS, so TRIS for health. So tries for health, and that's the number 4. And you can see the complete list of every event that they offer, and you can get 10% off any one of them with my discount code of Sylvie10. So thank you so much, John, for that. Now let's just get into sharing your love for cycling, how you got into it, and then how it took you to becoming an event organizer.
Sure. Well, I kind of got into cycling kind of through triathlon. I had been running a little bit more, but I wasn't doing anything really great. Any one of those disciplines, swimming being the worst. But, I like riding bikes. We have family rides, things like that. I'm very recreational. But then when I got into tries, I kind of saw how, it could get much more serious. Definitely road cycling more, again, through triathlon, and did that for a few years and worked my way up distances, did Ironman level distances, those long 6-hour century rides, the whole bit. And then from there, we just had an opportunity about 4 years ago to take over Grand Rapids Triathlon and Michigan Titanium, which are two very well-respected, really large events here in Michigan. We just kind of a random perfect storm of a situation, and John called me and said, "Hey, there's this opportunity sitting in front of me, and I can't do it alone." I was like, "I'm in. I don't even know the details, but I'm in, and we'll figure it out." And that's kind of how it all started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, it always blows my mind because I've started talking to so many different event organizers that they tend to take on events that are either the event organizers are retiring, or they're going to let it go, or they just want to hand it off. Like, how have you guys been in such a situation where people have come to you and say, "Hey, would you like to," like, what are they doing to get out of their, like, have they just been running it for so long they're just tired, or
Yeah,
what have you
so
come
yeah, I
across?
know exactly kind of where you're going with
Yeah.
this. It is a
How do
real
you
weird.
acquire all these?
Yeah, it's a strange thing to really think about. So in the case of how we got started with these two events that I just mentioned, it was something that the previous organizers, it was a side gig for them,
Okay.
but they were really big. Like it was a really big production. They had their own, side businesses outside of this. That was like their main job, but
Hmm.
this was just a thriving, robust kind of thing that they did. They did it for about 8, 9 years. And then when we got involved, they were kind of looking to get out of it. Something
Right.
had to give in this situation, where they couldn't sustain the level that they'd gotten their regular businesses up to, and then this thriving triathlon business. Um, and then, yeah, that's kind of how we took those over. But then honestly, COVID has been a game changer for us. I mean, we plan on very modest growth. We took over in 2019, so it was
Oh, okay.
pre-COVID, best laid intentions. We were going to have a big 2020.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
we, we
Woo.
exactly, so we were, new race directors, and the crazy thing was these two events were really, really big. Grand Rapids Tri could have been upwards of 1,900 people.
Oh, wow.
So it was a major event. It's not like a 200 person try in some weird spot. Like it was a fixture in the community. And Michigan Tatum was the same, 900 people, upwards of 1,000 people. Some years with an Ironman level 140.6. So these were like big things. So we were doing that, and then COVID hit, and then it took us and everybody else a year or so to figure out how to come back in some fashion. And then from there, it was just it really like changed the landscape here. There were event directors where I think they were in the business for a while, and maybe COVID was the straw that broke the camel's back, and they were
Hmm.
like, all right, I've done this for 20 years, I've done it for 30 years, whatever, it's time.
Yeah.
So there were opportunities that were popping up left and right. And then there was also opportunities where certain races would go away, and then we had a chance to go in and create a new event or a replacement event in the case of the Grand FONDO cycling
Yeah.
race. So just a lot of really weird opportunities that happened very, very quickly. And I really attribute it to COVID and that really changing the race landscape.
Yeah, I imagine if a good event was a staple in an area and then it disappeared, it's a great way to go in and revamp and bring something new in a good location. Like, yeah, that's super cool. So John, can I get down, because I'm always like asking questions. I'm an event organizer, not to your capacity yet,
Right.
but
Yeah, is the
but
key
the
word.
yeah,
That's what we
yeah,
say.
I know
Yep.
yet.
Never say never and always say yeah.
Yeah, really. Now, how does a transaction like that like go down?
Mhm.
Is it like, do you buy it? Is there a money? There's obviously got to be a money because there's equipment that I'm sure you're acquiring and things like that. How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I won't get
Since
into
you
the
guys
I
got
won't
lots
get
of
into the
experience.
into the weeds too much on it, but
Yeah,
we
I know.
John and I actually just did a whole like Q&A roundtable on this very topic down at the USA Triathlon Endurance Exchange
Oh, wow. Okay.
conference. So being that we had done this a few times now, they asked us to speak and actually speak to that. So it's really all over the map, but at the end of the day, if you're looking to acquire an established event or events or an
Hmm.
event company, um, you kind of do typical evaluation of that. There's equipment, like you said, so
Yeah.
bicycle racks, cones,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
fencing, finish line structures, all the stuff that you see on race day can have a value to it. I mean, that's a real value. So you put
Hmm.
that there, but then it's really coming down to looking at registration revenue over X number of
Right.
years, and then, doing a multiplier of that. And then it's a whole thing. And it can be kind of sliced up a number of different ways, kind of how
Okay.
that transaction can work. So there's that, which is more of a typical, you're buying a business or assets of a business, which I knew very little about and at that point. I had a couple side businesses, but these were like kind of built from the ground up kind of situations that were
Yeah.
just passion projects. But this was really more of, getting into an established thing that existed. And then other ones like our, Grand Fondo, for instance, that was something that was really an established event, but it just kind of went away. So, but
Hmm.
the pieces were still in place locally. So our name
That's
got,
a big thing,
it
is
really
the
is.
contacts and
Yes.
having everything pre-approved and it being like already on the calendar, because that in itself
Oh, that's huge.
is a
Yeah.
huge hurdle you have to get through as an organizer. Like you have to have everybody on board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, with something like that, it's just coming in and kind of getting those pieces fit back together
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
creating something new from the pieces of the old, essentially. Um, and then at other times, it's just coming in and creating a new event from scratch that has nothing to do maybe with some previous events, but a great venue might be there, or some local visitor bureau or sports commissions or something that want to have more events in the area.
Mm.
So there's just so many ways to go. I think we've literally seen just about every way that this can be done, from a traditional business transaction to just coming in and making something new from the pieces of the old. So
Wow. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of moving pieces when you
yeah.
think about it. Um, mhm. So let's talk about the different events, shall we? Like what makes them so unique? Maybe certain features. Let's start with the Grand Fondo. So, like you said, it used to be
Mhm. Yeah.
an event.
Mhm.
Now it's back. And what's different about it?
So that event previously had been going on for 8 years. It was tied in with Michigan State University. So it was very, very branded to them and their skin cancer research. So
Oh, okay.
huge charity piece of it. They raised over the 8 years like 1.4 million for skin cancer research, which was absolutely tremendous. I mean,
Is
that's a,
that, you said that's through the university?
it was, yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, there were some local individuals that wanted to put on a big cycling event here, and partnered with MSU, and that's kind of how that went again until COVID, and that changed things. So, that had a huge downtown Grand Rapids start and finish with. We shut down roads, and it had like almost like a rolling catering, situation with the aid stations, like really high end food, really cool finish line festival with catering and beer tents, and like, you ride that one to get back so that you could hang out for hours and really like just enjoy this festival atmosphere.
Oh, I
A
love
ride, not
it.
a race, really. So
Mhm.
we took those pieces, um, because that's really what it was known for. We didn't want that to go away. So we've got all those elements that the riders loved from the old event, rebranded it a little bit since the university wasn't part of it anymore. Renamed it Grand Rapids Grand Fondo, since it's still downtown, start and finish, same finish line, festival at the end, same courses, different charity partner. We are partnering with the West Michigan Trails, which is a nonprofit here right in our backyard that they connect a lot of our trail systems and work to advance that movement so that we've got safe trails to ride and run on, to get people off the road. So we're not having these incidents that we're hearing about across the country with cyclists getting killed from
Mhm.
angry drivers, just bad situations. So we felt it was a great charity to be working with. But it's a big event, and it's in its heyday in 2019. It was like 2,200 riders, which is pretty big,
Wow.
all the way out to the Lake Michigan Lakeshore and back on the longer rides. It's got a family ride, just really something for everybody. So we retained all of that, and just repackaged it a little bit, in an updated way to reflect kind of where we're going forward.
Oh, super cool. I
Yeah,
like
it's a fun
that.
event.
University based and still all university based, everything like start and finish there and
Well, the Michigan State University is more in the Lansing area, which is kind of the center center part of our state. We're more in
Okay.
the west, but they have like some buildings downtown here that are like extension buildings.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it was tied in with that. But yeah, we're still downtown Grand Rapids, still really a great venue,
Mm-hmm.
great courses, and it should be really fun for people. We're excited to be able to bring it back.
Cool. Cool. Okay. So Michigan Titanium. No. Ironman Titanium.
Nope, Michigan Titanium.
Oh, that's right.
We
Okay.
cannot
Michigan
use the
Titanium.
I word.
Oh, that's right. I
I
guess
do
you have
not
to
want to get
pay
any
for
cease and
that,
desist
right?
letter. We are not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. We don't use that word, nothing. So, please don't come after us.
Okay. So sorry, that was my
Yeah,
bad.
no worries.
My bad.
Now, everybody calls it that because we have that distance.
Right.
Titanium is kind of a variation, obviously. It's another metal. So, but yes, that event is super unique in that it does have that 140.6 mile race to it, which is very well known by another brand, as we just talked about. But, so it's got a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112 mile bike, and then a marathon. And we are the only race of that kind in Michigan that has that distance. There are 70.3s in Michigan, but we are the only 140.6, branded or not, in the state. And quite honestly, I think we're the biggest in the country that's a non-IM branded race.
Right. Where do you do the swim?
We have a really cool township park called Versluis Park. It's a former quarry. So it's got a beautiful lake. It's crystal clear. It's one of the nicest swims around here because there are some houses and condos on the far side of the lake across from the park, but they don't allow gas boats. So it's all
clean.
electric, super clean. It is so nice of a swim. And it's nice and big, so we can get a 1.2 mile loop in.
Okay.
Which we use just about all of it to do it, but it's super deep. So they're not swimming in weeds. Like, it's just a really, really clean, nice.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
There we've got access to great cycling routes that get us way out into farmland, into rolling hills. And then we've got a great run menu as well close by. It's one of the few areas I think we could really pull this off.
So is that close to is that close to Grand Rapids?
Yeah, basically it would be the north east side of Grand Rapids, essentially.
Northeast.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in one of the surrounding townships, essentially, but I mean it's on the edge of Grand Rapids. It's really, everybody considers that to be a piece of the city, just an outlier.
Okay. All right. Well, next one is the Grand Rapid Tri.
Yes. So Grand Rapids Tri is definitely our biggest, probably our biggest event, or next to Grand Fondo, probably our biggest event now, depending on how high the numbers go on that one. Typically it's between 1,500 triathletes and 1,900 triathletes. We got back to that last year. So those were pre-COVID numbers.
Right.
And we were pretty happy to get back to that, and we're tracking higher this year. And then COVID kind of forced us to take that one-day event, which had a sprint, an Olympic, and half distance, and split that into 2 days, just to kind of manage our deferrals that first year we were able to come back.
Right.
But it worked out so great that we kept the format. So Saturday,
less stress, of everything happening in one day.
Yes and no. I mean, it's kind of like twice, but the nice thing is we're dealing with half the athletes then each day.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah. And parking.
Yes, big time. Parking is huge to spread it across. But the cool thing about Grand Rapids Tri is, being that we're 2 days, our Saturday day is very newbie friendly. We do a super sprint that we added and a sprint that day. So start at 7 a.m, race is done by 10:30, a lot of newbies, super fun. It's just a real cool energy because you get a lot of those nerves.
Yeah, I think it's nice to really cater to the beginners too.
Yes.
Because splitting the two, like the longer one and the day before, and then having just all the new people showing up on the day after, that's a nice separation, actually.
Yeah,
everybody separate.
Vibe on Saturday, like they're excited, because I do a spiel beforehand and talk to the athletes and welcome them and everything, and they're nervous, they're cheering, like they're just smiling. And Sunday, man, those halves on Olympics are stone cold. I mean, it is game time.
Race face.
Seriously, like you can't get anything out of them. But so Sunday ends up being our longer day, but
Yeah.
it's a great weekend event. It really it's great for our sponsors because they get double that value. We have outdoor expos, so starting Friday and then Saturday. We got a kids event. So really it's a 3-day event when you factor in our expos. There's just so much going on. It's just a really, really great community event. And it's the biggest independent tri in the whole state. So we're looking to grow that one hopefully to about 2,500 to 3,000 people. Yeah, we really think we can get there with our venue and our 2-day format. We just got to bring the people here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Grand Rapids is pretty central, is it not?
It
Like,
is.
I've been there.
Have you?
Well, okay, so since I was doing Barry Roubaix,
Oh yeah.
I was at the hotel in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
So actually I did not see all of what Grand Rapids had to showcase because I was just at the hotel on the outskirts of town, I'm sure. And then I was like driving to Hastings, which is like 45 minutes away. And then you come back and you're super tired and you're like,
yeah, you're done after that.
Yeah. So, but it is kind of like, it does look fairly central to the state. So I imagine you get a lot of people from Canada. Do you get people from Canada come down?
We do. Surprisingly, we have last year we had 1,500 athletes over the 2 days, and 60% of those are within about 50 miles of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
And we're pulling from 41 states on average.
Oh, really?
Crazy. Yeah. When you dig into the numbers of where people are coming from, we pull really big from all over. We're pulling from Canada. We're usually pulling from Mexico. We've pulled from Europe quite a few times actually.
That's impressive.
It's been really bizarre kind of that people come here for us because we feel like it's such a local community event. But it definitely has a national pull, and Michigan Titanium is the same way, especially being one of the few independent 140.6s around. That one will pull from 35 to 40 states every year. So
yeah, because I mean, Toronto is maybe 4.5 hours, like that whole west side of Ontario, and they're not very far.
Yeah, no,
we're like a good driving distance for an event.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we pull pretty consistently from that area. They had some trouble in 2021 because the border was still closed.
Right.
That was the only year that we didn't really pull those folks, but we can pretty consistently get them down here.
Yeah, that's really impressive. Now this one, the BRAINY Day Trail Run. BRAINY Day Trail Run.
Yeah,
okay, first of all, that's just a cool name. And I die laughing at some of these names every time I see them. And it's just like one of those things that make you want to go and to the event. So talk about that one.
So I can actually give some background on that as to why it's named the way it is. It was started, I believe, right around, I want to say maybe 2003, 2004.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The founder of the original event, Veronica Constantine, had something called hydrocephalus, which is it's like extra fluid on the brain, basically. Great swelling, can like be deadly, like very serious condition. Affects children, adults as well. So she had this, survived it, and wanted to start raising awareness for it. So being that it was a brain condition, she named it BRAINY Day. It was just the BRAINY Day, like 5K, and it kind of went on. It was a cool little hyper local charity event. Might have pulled 100, runners, 200 runners at most, and it kind of chugged along for a while. She changed it into more of like a trail race, added a 10K. And then all of a sudden in like 2017, 2018, she brought on a different race director because it was growing, and suddenly it was like a 700 person event. So yeah, it was. And
where's that one located?
That was located over by the Lake Michigan lakeshore in Utica. Basically, it's one of the coastal Lake Michigan small towns. So yeah, super cool event. I was involved because prior to race directing, I was kind of in the marketing world and branding and design. And so I designed their logo and kind of donated a lot of my time to try to elevate their t-shirts and just some of their marketing pieces. And then, became a race director, and then we were like all focused on that. And then I got reconnected with Veronica probably maybe December or January, I guess, of 2022. So a little more than a year ago. And the event kind of went away because of COVID, and she wanted somebody to do something with it. And I was pretty passionate about it, just having helped out, donating some of my time, and thought it was a great event. And so we brought it back. Basically, we worked with her. We got it from her, and we're benefiting the Pediatric Hydrocephalus Foundation of Michigan. So we're still keeping that piece of it. And yeah, we're just kind of regrowing it a little bit. It was small last year. It's about 100 runners, but we had moved it to a different, to a mountain bike trail system that we have that's super cool here, that had no running events. And they're like, yes, please bring a running event here, because that's too. So yeah, it's just a really fun venue, and we're hoping for big things from that one as we slowly grow it. And I hope we get it back to the pre-COVID numbers. But we just love that event, and it's something that we're going to be holding on to for quite a while, I think, and kind of letting it find itself again. It's a fun event.
I do love trail running. I used to love trail running a ton.
Yeah.
Now I'm just a cyclist. Just a cyclist. Well, no, getting into gravel, but I wish I did have more time to do some trail running. But that is super exciting. Now that we've covered everything, and as we mentioned, as a reminder, we've already gone over the other gravel events, which are on episode 31 with John, which were Ride to Hell, Dirty Mitten, Ugly Dog, and a Waterloo GG. So if you want to learn more about those, you can go to that episode. So that's 301, and learn about them. And again, as a reminder, if you want to participate, you can use our discount code of Sylvie10, that's SYLVIE 10, to get 10% off any one of the a multitude of the events that they have going on. So now you said that there are some kids events. Are there always kids events in each one of these, or?
Not usually. We have a kids event for Grand Rapids Triathlon. So we ran a kids try for a number of years at various locations, but we've now been putting on for the past this will be the third year now, a youth duathlon, basically. As part of our event, taking the swim piece out of it, because that's a barrier for everybody. I don't care if you're a kid or an adult.
Yep.
Yeah. So we pulled that out. It's just a bike run in a park system. That's literally where our venue's at. So we'll pull 120, 140 kids for that. That's just a fun event. 6 years old up to 11. So we're dealing with like little kids on like,
oh, that is so cute.
Even the training wheels. And yeah, we love that event. And then Michigan Titanium also has a small kids try as part of it. But with that, the water is so shallow where they start, they literally like stand up and then dive in and then stand up. And so they're kind of doing like one of those. So it's not really a swim, but again, 6 through 11 within a park that we have the venue at. So that's just a nice piece. We like to really try to have a couple of youth events just to kind of get those kids acclimated into what their parents are doing, because most of the time their parents are doing the events.
I know it's nice to have something for everybody, especially when everybody like shows up. There's always like one who's doing the event, and then everybody else can kind of participate and do a little bit of their own.
Yeah, but then we do have family rides with some of these events that we have too. Like the FONDO event has a great family ride, which is about 10 miles, 12 miles. Within most of it's within a closed park system. So just you'll have people with pull behinds, and it's again we try to have these pieces of it so that more families can be involved than just mom or dad doing it, which can be very solo, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Long training weekends, and something for them to all do and take part of.
Yeah, I do think that's really important to also encourage the next generation of kids to just enjoy sport without, um, the expectation of being competitive. Because everybody's like, I don't want to be competitive. I'm like, there's a competitive bone in everybody, but I do understand some people just don't want to be in that situation, but they can go and enjoy themselves anyways.
Yeah, and you're right, with kids, especially with like youth sports. I mean, it's highly competitive. You get into some of these like
Yeah,
soccer, football, and baseball, and all these like they're
too
starting
much for some kids.
year
Just want
round,
to
and
have fun.
yeah, so we just want families to have fun with us when they come out. So
Hmm. Well, that's super cool, John. I am so glad that we got you on the podcast. I know I was like, oh no, we have to reschedule, but actually it worked out.
good. Yeah, our weeks get pretty bananas, and yeah, it's honestly with 11 events this year, including the kids.
Yeah, 11 events.
It's yeah,
So
it's
when do they start and when do they finish?
so well, they never really start and finish because they're always going. But as far as the events go, our very first one that we put on is Waterloo G&G. That'll be on April 29th. So just what is that?
Okay.
2 months out. And then we go all the way to the first week of October to October 7th for Road to Hell. But honestly, like any of these events that we end, like Grand Rapids Tri will end on a certain day. And then that Monday, after we put that race to bed, we're starting on that next year's cycle already. So there's
Oh
never
yeah,
there's
like yeah.
never any
Mhm.
end for us. We're year round. Our quiet time in October through say January, we're chasing sponsors and we're talking to townships and we're figuring out how to
Going for a
correct
vacation.
communication, please. But yeah, we're always trying to just improve things that we can improve on and listen to athlete feedback, and
Mhm.
yeah, it never ends. This is just a roller coaster that we can never get off of.
Do you do surveys following each event?
Yes, we do.
It's
Yeah,
pretty important. We do that. I have a women's cycling
yeah.
club and we do that every year. Even
It's
if it's the
super
same
great.
questions, where you can always learn something new from somebody. You're like, oh yeah,
No,
never thought of
honestly,
that.
we've gotten some really great feedback from those
Yeah.
every single year. I mean, I can't think of a single year since we started that we haven't pulled at least a few things that
Hmm.
we just hadn't thought of, or we're
I
like,
know.
"You know what, that person is right. That'd be so much better if we did X or Y or Z instead of what we did," or
Yeah.
even somebody that might have had a bad day. And sometimes athletes do kind of take it out on the events and the event
Hmm.
organizers, as you know.
Hmm.
But it's just identifying who those people are and reaching out to them and finding out what really went wrong for them, and how can we do whatever we can do to make sure that maybe they come back and they we try to address those things, because ultimately we want everybody to have a great day. I don't want a single person coming to our event and just having a terrible day because of something that we did,
Yeah.
or something we didn't think of. And when that does happen, the few times it does happen, we do absolutely try to correct it. And those surveys are key.
Yeah, they certainly are. So how big is your team?
Well, it's John and I for sure sitting here in the office most days. We've got our admin assistant Lori, who has been with us. Well, we inherited her with the races. She was with the previous directors, so she's been with us for a long time. We've got a marketing person, Chelsea, our marketing director, who's part-time with us, part-time with USAT. We've got race specific staff. We've got a sponsorship person who is part-time with us. We've got a volunteer coordinator who's part-time with us. So, kind of non-race weekends or weeks, we're probably 6 to 8 people.
Right.
Most of them part-time. And then around race weekends, it's anywhere from 10 to 40 people. That's like our race staff on those weekends, handling our swim course and bike course and
Mm.
swim safety and bike course marshal, things like that. So yeah,
Wow. Yeah, it does take a team to
really,
run
really
a good
does.
event. I'm looking for teammates to run my women's gravel event with me. And because I mean, it's going to be small. I'm going to keep it small this year, but I do want the vision of growing it. So I am looking for key people to partner with on a volunteer basis until it starts growing, right?
Yeah.
It's always like kind of like
No, honestly, that was one thing last year when John and I went into 2022 with 3 events, and suddenly by the end of January it was 8 events. We're like,
Really?
holy smokes, we gotta get some people we can trust who have
Yeah.
fun and want to be around this stuff and get them in place. Otherwise, we're sunk.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
only,
It's that's
yeah, I mean,
that's a big. Oh my gosh.
as the people around you. I mean, it's true. We can have as many crazy ideas as we can think of all day, but if we don't have people to help us implement it and make sure that they're successful, it doesn't matter.
I know there's so many moving parts, right? Like so many that it's yeah, you can't do it all by yourself.
No.
But it's been amazing chatting with you. I hope everyone of our listeners has taken away something or maybe added something to your race calendar since it's still new in the season, whether you're a triathlete or a gravel rider or a, they got duathlon. Did you say you had
We got
duathlon?
duathlons, we got relays, we have aqua bikes.
You don't need to be a swimmer. Thank gosh. And
yeah.
it's like,
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Yeah. So thank you so much again, John. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. So remember, you can get 10% off any one of their events using Sylvie 10 at checkout. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have an amazing day, John. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube. This video will end up there as well. So you can watch us or listen to us. You can also put lots of questions there if you have them. And make sure that you like, comment, and put your notifications on so you don't miss another episode. So thanks a lot, everyone. Bye, John.
Take care.
All right, and that's a wrap, everyone. Always love talking to event organizers, especially ones who have multiple events on the go, with 11 in total, talking to John Conkling, and who is business partner with John Mosey of episode 31. So gravel events, triathlon events, and also a great discount code of Sylvie 10. So it's SYLVIE 10 to get 10% off. I hope you enjoyed this. Please share with your cycling buddies who are in the area, around the area, Canada, throughout the United States. This is an episode you just want to share with your cycling communities to go and participate at. So have a great day. Love you all, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on the Secrets from the Saddle podcast, learning more about citing people, places, and things that make cycling such an exciting sport. I am so glad you stopped by today. Please leave me a review if you feel so moved to do so. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you could take 1 second to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it, I would be forever grateful. Also, if you could please leave me a review if you feel so moved by going to iTunes and leaving me an honest thought and an honest comment, telling me what you think, and most importantly, tell me what you'd like to hear more of. It would really help me to bring more great, inspiring cycling stories to you. Until then, have an amazing day, make sure you ride your bike, and don't forget to visit my YouTube channel if you'd like to see the full version of this podcast live.